What's going on, guys? So, I have a topic that I've covered a few times on my channel over the last few years. It's a very popular topic and kind of a little bit of a variation on a cheaper alternative fragrance video. And in this video, I picked out 5 of my personal favorite expensive fragrances, whether it's for the scent profile or the performance or the way my wife feels about it. Just my anyways, my absolute favorite expensive fragrances that I own, and then 5 much more affordable alternatives. Now, these aren't direct clones, some closer to being direct clones than others, but there's a few that are just great alternatives that share kind of the same style and maybe a few notes, but don't exactly smell the same. And really excited to talk to you guys about these particular 10 fragrances total, so stay tuned. Starting with one that's relatively new to my collection, it's from the famed and beloved niche house called Xerjoff. I don't have a ton of fragrances from Xerjoff. I had a decant, I will still have the decant of this fragrance, and it's just a personal favorite of mine. If you like sharp metallic citrus, florals, and clean musk, you'll probably like Xerjoff Mefisto. I just wore this one a few days ago as well. I've done a full review of this one on my channel. Performance is actually pretty good for me. Well above average without being a beast. My wife, huge fan. Huge fan. You get it. So I tend to reach for this one a lot more because when it's something that she really enjoys and it's already something I love, it's just an added bonus, so it's easier to reach for fragrances like that. Here you get, like I said, this sharp metallic citrus at the top. There's a little soft powdery iris and rose here, and a beautiful, extremely clean white musk in the dry down. It's a clean, like fresh and clean style fragrance through and through from start to finish. Hard to beat, very attractive type of stuff. Kind of similar to Creed Silver Mountain Water without the herbal notes or the inkiness of black currant, any of that stuff. Now, this is very pricey. So if you want to go with something that has, honestly, better performance, yes, it's not going to smell as high of quality, but it can do the same job. And I can tell you right now, my wife loves this equally as much. It is Armaf Club de Nuit Sillage. Technically, their clone of Creed Silver Mountain Water. This shares a note breakdown closer to Silver Mountain Water. It does have black currant. It does have the tea note. But there is a ton of similarities here. So just as this is a great clone for Creed Silver Mountain Water, it's a fantastic alternative / clone for Xerjoff Mefisto as well. Like I said, obviously night and day difference in quality. You can get this in the $30 to $40 price point for this 3.6 ounce. Great performance. Does smell wonderful. Like I said, I get the same reaction out of my wife regardless of which of these 2 fragrances I wear. And based on feedback I've gotten from a lot of you guys out there, seem to have a similar experience with your ladies. And I'm not saying every guy's getting that reaction with their lady, but I recall specifically several comments in the review video that I did where it's a similar experience to mine with your significant other. So maybe give this one a try. If you're a fan of Creed Silver Mountain Water or especially of Xerjoff Mefisto, save yourself some money. Give this a try. Right around 36 bucks is what I paid. It's a great alternative. It's Armaf Club de Nuit Sillage. Next, this is my favorite Boozy tobacco fragrance. Very boozy, fruity at the top. Performance is absolutely magnificent on this fragrance. It is my favorite from the house. We're talking about the House of Argos. This is Triumph of Bacchus. Absolutely a magnificent fragrance. This is a work of art. A lot of peach and apple at the top. Thick, robust, moist type of tobacco. A lot of rum absolute here. It's got a lovely ambery feel. It's not just the color of the juice. It's in the scent profile. God, it smells so good. Such a great fragrance. This is always my recommendation as the main fragrance to sample, to get your nose on, to spray on your skin when you're trying to decide what you want to try from the House of Argos to see what's bottle worthy for you personally in your collection. This is always the go-to for me. Regardless of how many magnificent fragrances come from this house, none of them seem to top this fragrance for me. Now, admittedly, very pricey fragrance. around $245, $250 USD for a 100 milliliter bottle. You get what you pay for. Top tier, high quality presentations, top tier, high quality oils used, blended to perfection with fantastic performance. Like I said, you get what you pay for, but not everybody wants to or can spend that kind of money. So for my money, if you're looking for a fantastic alternative that will still provide that ridiculous amount of performance, still bring you a boozy tobacco fragrance that doesn't really smell like all the other boozy tobacco fragrances out there, maybe check out 1821 Man-Made Sweet Tobacco Spirits. Here they have a red wine accord that is the booziness to this fragrance. This is an older bottle. It's a monster. I haven't tried any of the newer style bottles. And yes, I know somebody's going to say it in the comments. I do know they have, I think it's called Noble Oud or something like that, a new fragrance out. I will try that eventually. I say that because I know it's coming in the comments. But this one, ridiculous. Thick, rich, beautiful, sweet honey type of smell. Honey tobacco with this boozy red wine accord. That's the main things you can expect here. It's kind of sticky and thick. This stuff will linger in the air and hang out in a room long after you have left. While not the exact same scent profile, there are some notes that are shared, and it does seem to be a pretty similar experience. Maybe not on the same quality level. I mean, obviously it's not on the same quality level, but I think retail is like $80 for this. You can find it cheaper than that online. Somewhere in the $40 to $60 range is what I've seen them go for, and that's an absolute steal for this. Even if the newer bottles aren't quite the monstrosity and performance that this is, I'm sure it's still well above average, beastly type of stuff. You just got to get your nose on it. They make a bunch of other products outside of the fragrance, but the fragrance is fantastic. It's a pure Parfum extrait. Just beautiful stuff. If you're looking for a wonderful, wonderful boozy tobacco to substitute for Argos Triumph of Bacchus, I suggest checking out 1821 Man-Made Sweet Tobacco Spirits. The next fragrance we're going to discuss is my absolute favorite vanilla fragrance. Bar none, hands down, doesn't get better than this for me. It has some spices in the backdrop. It's got a beautiful benzoin ambery feel to it. Super intoxicating is Nishane Ani. Big proponent for this one. I love this fragrance. Love, love, love. Featured it several times on this channel. Comes highly recommended from me personally. Definitely one to experience, but it's still pricey even from discounters. 100 milliliter bottles like this, depending on where you find it online, you're going to spend 140 to 200 range, probably in that more 150, 160 range typically. That's still more expensive than a lot of people want to pay. Admittedly, when it comes to these higher end luxury fragrances, that's actually not that bad of a price, but still kind of out of reach for some that are on maybe a bit more of a strict budget and don't want to be quite as frivolous, but still want to get a similar experience to what gorgeous scent profiles like Nishane Ani can offer. So my suggestion, this can be found in the $50 to $60 range, would be Mercedes-Benz Club Black. While not the same amber vanilla, it can provide a similar experience, obviously a bit more synthetic, but not a cheap smelling fragrance. Here you get a little bit of a smoky nuance to go with this amber and vanilla. There's some ambroxan to fresh it up and give it some power. Lovely hype beast in its own right. In the community, online space, this has been hyped to death over the last few years, especially in the cooler weather. It can do a similar job. It provides a similar feel and experience, while, like I said before, not the same quality experience and not quite the same performance, but this is still a very strong, very long-lasting fragrance that will give you that same amber vanilla experience, just on maybe a little bit different of a level, and it won't hit your pocketbook or your wallet quite as hard. So if you're a fan, if you've tried Nishane Ani, or maybe it's something you've heard enough great things about that you think you would enjoy, but you just can't seem to want to spend that kind of money, maybe take a look into this. It will provide a similar experience at a much more affordable price. It's Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Next, this is my favorite green fragrance. What do I mean by green? Green citruses, fresh green herbs, just mintiness, brightness, just everything green that you could want in a fragrance, for me personally, can be found in Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is Aqua Celestia Forte. Absolutely adore. This scent profile performance is great. Wife, again, Big fan of this fragrance. She's actually worn it herself a few times. Little bit of a lime feel at the top, mint leaf, fresh mint leaf, petitgrain note that provides this mild green herbal feel without making it a fresh spicy fragrance. Nothing super complex, does have some subtle nuances. A fragrance that rides the line of elegant and classy and casual and laid back. It can do just about everything. It's great in the warmer months, but still has enough going on with a strong enough presence to the performance to work in the cold if you want something fresh and green, kind of like this fragrance. It's beautiful. I absolutely love this stuff. This is my favorite MFK fragrance over the Baccarat Rouge fragrances, over Oud Satin, both versions of Oud Satin Mood, and so on, which to some of you that might sound crazy, but it's my personal opinion. I just love this stuff. Now, it's expensive. Very, very expensive for a 70 ml. So, I suggest to get a similar style scent profile. It shares a lot of the same notes. Can be found for around 23 bucks at the rack stores, in the $20 to $30 range from discounters online. We're talking about Banana Republic Vintage Green, number 78. You're not going to get the same performance. You're not getting the same quality. But you will get somewhat of a similar wearing experience. Great for the same situations and attires. Great three-season fragrance, spring, summer, fall, more so spring and summer because of its freshness. You get some citrus, that petitgrain note ties it together. There's light blonde wood. It's a soft wood type of feel in the backdrop. A little soapy and clean, more so than the MFK fragrance. I don't even recall there being any mint in this fragrance, but it does have that bright, fresh green appeal. And it's very cheap. Not a terrible performer. Depending on your skin, obviously it'll vary. I'm sure some people get awful performance. I get close to average, 5-ish hours range. You can safely attribute it to being 4 to 6 hours on my skin, which for the 20 bucks I paid, I cannot gripe. And it does provide a similar experience. While this isn't going to really tell you the full tale of what you would get for much more money here, it can definitely kind of scratch the itch for that fresh green fragrance that's just so inviting, so appealing, and can do both of those things so well. Like I said, rides that line of classy and elegant, but yet casual and laid back. You can get a similar experience, not the same experience, for a lot less money with Banana Republic Vintage Green. Last but not least, some may shake their heads. I still enjoy the fragrance. That's why I own more versions of this scent profile than any other. We're talking about Creed Aventus, that's right. We are talking about Creed Aventus. I wore it a couple of times recently. More so spring, summer. I haven't wore it yet in the fall, but I love this fragrance. It's iconic. It's masculine. It's a mark of success in many fields out there for men that strive for greatness in their field. They move up the ladder into management and so on. It's a mark of success. There was a running joke that I'm sure is still not really a joke, but it's a running thing in the car business. You know, when you achieve management level status at a high volume dealership where they sell a lot of cars, you can make a lot of money in management over there. You get your Rolex, you get your bottle of Creed Aventus. That's just the way it is. This is not something I'm making up. It is a thing. At least in the Texas market, it was definitely a thing. But not everybody wants to spend this kind of money because this is the most expensive fragrance in this video that we're discussing. Even from discounters, you're going to spend around $300 for this. Retail, much higher than that. Very expensive fragrance. And it's a shell of what it used to be. Even this 2019 S11 batch it's a decent batch. But since, from what I understand from others, it has continued to go on a decline, not even leveling off in a parallel. So, with that said, I still don't consider this a direct clone. The Eau de Toilette version of this is more of a clone, even though it's got that harsh lemon. There's a few different notes here. This is more walking the path right between clone and inspired by, in my opinion. We're talking about Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man, but here we're talking about the limited edition Parfum specifically. So why do I say it's not exactly a clone? Or a direct clone anyways. It's not one-to-one because you still have that lemon feel. It's just not as harsh and sharp. This is a bit darker, smokier, a bit more tart with the fruitiness. It's musky. It still has some good sweetness. Performance is much better on this than my bottle of Creed Aventus. Not as loud as the EDT, still a loud fragrance. Another one. Wife is a big fan of this one. She's okay with Creed Aventus. She loves this fragrance. She compliments me on it and tells me how good I smell every single time I wear this. I wear this more than I wear Creed Aventus. I would take this, at this point, 10 times out of 10 over Creed Aventus. I love this fragrance. So much so that I'm not in a rush to try the Pure Parfum or the Eau de Parfum that came out before this, because this one just suits my taste so well for performance, for scent profile, how much the wife likes it, and so on. It just has that appeal. Versatile enough, even though it's kind of heavy and dark. I've worn it in the high heat. It's fine. And of course it works in the spring, the fall, and it works great in the winter as well. I really, really dig this. This is the one I would suggest getting from the line. It's in that $50 to $60 range from discounters online. Even though you can spend under 30 bucks in most places, even on Amazon, you can 26, 28 bucks. You can get a bottle of the Eau de Toilette, and sure, you'll be fine with that. But if you want to up your game just a little bit more, without spending, even a fraction, a small fraction anyways, of what Creed Aventus will run you, this is the way to go. There's a ton of ways to smell like Creed Aventus out there. Don't get me wrong, but this has become my personal favorite. Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum. Well, that was the 5 and 5 alternatives that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What of the 5 expensive fragrances that I love do you own or have you smelled? Were you looking for some more affordable alternatives to those scent profiles? Have you tried any of the 5 alternatives that I featured here? If so, what do you think about them? If not, are you interested in any of them? Like I said, I'd love to read all of your thoughts and comments down below. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these fragrances and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later, because it's all fragrances that I love personally, and the vast majority, my wife does too. Have a good one, guys.